Man, I really don't like when people call me. So, I don't like to be called unannounced. I like to know a call is coming. Anyway, there's a lot of news. I have to restart this whole video again. It was going really well, and now I have to restart it because somebody had to call me. That's probably a scammer. Anyway, um, some really crazy news. Apparently, the CEO of Alphabet was talking on X with Elon yesterday and talking about how they're unveiling their new quantum computer that can pretty much crack. When I'm trying to gather with what these highly intelligent people in this field are saying, that it can crack any password out here. It's going to be able to crack any wallet, any, like, all the seeds, like, so it's just like everything is going to be, yeah, crypto would be worthless, but so will everything else. Anything with a password will be able to be hacked if whoever has access to this extremely powerful computer. So, you know, I'm excited for the advancement of AI the right way. I'm not too happy that they could possibly be coming out with the most powerful AI. That is very troublesome to me, that Alphabet might have the most powerful AI system, AGI. Man, hey, like, you combined whatever that supercomputer, quantum computer, with the AI they currently have, and like there's a singularity, like it's the singularity is on the horizon. Um, that I was hoping it was going to be Elon, and it possibly still could. He better hurry up. They better hurry, like whatever they're doing. They better hurry up. They did some type of investment in some like computer chips. Um, they better figure it out. So that's troublesome. That Alphabets could potentially have the most powerful AI in the future. That is not good. Not good at all. Um, I guess Microsoft decided they're not going to buy Bitcoin. They had a shareholders meeting today, and they decided that they're not going to invest in Bitcoin. And if I was still trading stocks, if I still had stocks, I'm not giving financial advice to anybody. So, like, don't take anything I say. Like, this is pure entertainment or just my opinion. So, like, I would definitely, like, if I had stocks in Microsoft, I would get rid of them. I don't think that company is going to. I think that company might be Blockbuster in the future. That it might be viewed as Blockbuster. One of the most uh, innovative companies out here. One of the biggest names, Microsoft, goes bankrupt. I don't know. It's just like they're selling MSNBC. Maybe they already sold that. I'm not sure if they even had that anyway. Like that, at some point they did have MSNBC. But yeah, they probably already got rid of that. But I, like, unless you get your own quantum computer that's going to be even more powerful than Alphabet's. I would start liquidating my assets. If I was Microsoft, I would start selling everything. I would. I'm not too sure about Xbox's future. I could be wrong though. Who knows, man? Maybe I'll be wrong, and Microsoft is gonna flourish. But I guess we'll see. So that was a huge loss in my opinion. I think that, like, when I'm thinking of like Bitcoin, I'm thinking, one of these days I can just wake up. I might just wake up in the next couple months, and then I'm looking at my crypto because my ex is blowing up about Bitcoin like being historically high. And then I open up my wallet and see that Bitcoin's like $2.5 million. It's just sitting there. $2.5 million Bitcoin. Now what would cause something like that? So, like, what would cause something like that is all of these governments starting to get their own Bitcoin reserves. And there's only 1.7 million that are in circulation. Like on exchanges that you can buy. Everything else, there's a lot of Bitcoin that's just in cold storage on people's wallets, and like in order for that Bitcoin to get access to, they have to sell it or like flip it or do something. But yeah, there's a lot of Bitcoin are just sitting on cold storage, and what'll happen is, so there'll become such of a less supply out there. Everyone buys it up at the same time. You know, you'll see FOMO with these rich people. They'll be like, dang, I could have got in when it was like $100,000, and then they're over here buying it up for like $500,000, and they get it like, man, we gotta get Bitcoin like $1 million. Like, these rich people are going to FOMO in. That's what I think was probably going to happen. Just because the government's wanting to get it themselves. So, like, not only are you going to have governments going in there and printing out money or selling off assets, whether it's gold or whatever, to buy up Bitcoin, you're going to have wealthy people going in as well, and corporations like Microsoft just missed out on. Like, they're going to be, you know, there's going to be people, you know, and you know, this might not happen, okay? Like, it could go to zero. You know, it's a speculative asset. Bitcoin is a speculative asset. But man, that would be so crazy just to wake up and Bitcoin is like, it really's got like a huge wealth transformation happened, because all the money went into it. So that is a possibility because of government adoption of Bitcoin. There's a lot of countries out there, and America is talking about buying a Bitcoin. I seen something about Russia thinking about it. There's people internally thinking about starting a Bitcoin reserve. Arabic countries are doing it. El Salvador has already done it. Apparently Brazil is going through their political system and gonna adopt buying Bitcoin for reserve. When this happens, well, there's only so much Bitcoin, man. Like, yeah, people are gonna sell. Like, okay, so like hypothetically, if it did, like, I wake up the next day and it's $3 million, like, I gotta take profits, man. I'm going to sell some of my Bitcoin. Same with anybody else, especially if you're not getting paid, if you don't have to like really pay taxes on them. Like, if they're not going to make you pay like capital gains tax or whatever, like, you know, people are like, they'll probably want to get rid of that. Or make it very minimal. So like, yeah, like, people are going to be like, okay, you're going to have a lot of rich people, and I'm not one of them because I'm not going to be rich. I would have to hold on to the tiny minuscule I have, and it'll be a couple bull runs before like it'll affect my personal life. You know, it would have to go up to like multiple, like it would have to be like $20 million a Bitcoin for me to feel because I don't have much. But I just think that everyone should have a little bit, at least to understand like the technology, how to move it, yeah, understand, and at least to have a little bit of knowledge, like even if like, oh, I only have $100, like okay, but most people don't have money, and that's what's gonna be crazy is it's gonna be most people like at my level like they can't buy Bitcoin. Are you kidding me? Like we're barely making it as it is. So like when these rich people go in, they're going to be competing with each other for the last scraps of the Bitcoin out there. And it's going to drive the price high until people decide to take some type of a profit, and take their Bitcoin off of cold storage and sell it. So like they can pretty much, make their own personal life a lot. Like imagine there's gonna be a lot of like these kids that are like probably living in their mom's basement right now, and they don't really have much of a life. They're probably like really minimalistic, and like they invested a lot in their crypto. They probably went all in, and like these people are gonna be like, okay, well, like I gotta take profits now. Yeah, I'm gonna upgrade my lifestyle. Like, it's gonna happen. Or it might not happen. Bitcoin can go to zero. Then that happens. I don't know what to say. Like, if Bitcoin was to go to zero, well, I think that everything will go to zero because of that quantum computer that YouTube Alphabet has. I think that the government is probably looking at Alphabet sideways. I would be if I was the government, because then you're going to be able to hack everything. You're going to be able to have access probably to every classified thing with that quantum computer. And there's nothing our government can do. So, like, yeah, our government is probably going to have a major problem with Alphabet's threat to their infrastructure. And other governments as well. So, like, Alphabet better tread lightly and work with the governments, which I think that they have, and a lot of these tech companies have. But they've been working against the people, and that's the problem. Elon seems to be like the pioneer who likes to be for the people. These other CEOs are starting to jump on. I've seen like people are being really pro, like Ray Dalio, and I don't know. There's other people that are just like jumping on board. Oh, there's this other one that they were like, they're lefties, man, and then there's kind of like these tech guys that are like kind of like they see what Elon's saying, like they get it, like Joe Rogan, like they're influenced by these people. So, like, I forgot how to say his name, man, but he's a very prominent figure, and I'm following him on X. So, like, I've told people, I've told everybody, I've posted it on my social media about Bitcoin years ago. I stopped because nobody listened, you know what I mean? It's just like, at that time, people still had, like, we didn't have to deal with inflation. Like what I did is I took my stimulus and I invested it. I invested it into gold and silver, guns, bullets, food, and crypto. You know what I mean? So it was a mix. It's a mix because I used debt too. I leveraged debt as well. But yeah, I used my stimulus too. And a lot of people just wasted their stimulus. Didn't think like, oh man, all this money printing, we're gonna have to deal with a lot of inflation. And I set myself up because I didn't know what path we were gonna go. I didn't know if like crypto was gonna be the number one, like if these governments were gonna be against crypto or for it. So I'm like, okay, I'll get some gold. I'm really for crypto because I think it's a really good asset. But I don't know, man. These governments keep pushing against crypto. But if they're like accepting it, like that's amazing. That is huge. And you can see how prosperous El Salvador is. Hell, I might even like want to move down there now. I like the cold. I like if I did like hypothetically, like that's basically like if it went up to like 3 million for a lot of people, that's a huge thing. Um, and what I would do too is like even the little crypto I have, like I wouldn't like cash out all of the Bitcoin. I would probably do a certain amount, but I would just hold it. You know what I mean? Like just hold it just in case it goes up even higher in value, because like there's only so much Bitcoin, and like yeah, you can get down to the Satoshi, to the eighth decimal or whatever. So like yeah, there's a lot of people who are going to um, there's a lot of use for it, and if there's not a lot of supply, prices will skyrocket. If there is a huge supply, prices will drop. Um, and you also need demand. So I'm anticipating a high demand. I'm anticipating all of these people going in at once and having FOMO, and that's how we could get like, people probably think like I'm crazy saying this, like they're so conservative in their thought process, but like I'm thinking like, dude, there's only 2 million, like 1.7 million Bitcoin out there in circulation to buy, and if like all these countries go up and they start buying it up, I mean, imagine if America just went out there and just like, okay, we're going to. I mean, by the time it gets, I don't know, like realistically, what'll probably happen is it'll probably be like a slow rise, and by the time like Trump gets in there in like 40 days, is it my situation would be like everyone just like FOMOs really quick, but what will happen is like you'll probably see the price increase probably like to $200,000 at some point at the end of the year, the start of the year, and then it might go up to like 300,000 or something like that. And by the time that when Trump gets in there, then America starts buying Bitcoin for like 500,000, 600,000, maybe 400,000, somewhere in there. That's what it seems like they kind of think like is gonna happen. I've seen in like the comments with them talking and stuff like that. So like, that's a possibility for sure that America starts buying. So like they won't be able to get as much, and if other countries are smart and they know that America's gonna buy, well, you better start buying right now. So by the time America gets there, it might be like $1 million. It could be. It could be. I'm not saying it's going to be. I'm saying it could be. I'm quite bearish if we have all these rich people fear missing out on Bitcoin. I'm pretty bullish. Okay, so like, I'm not saying like it's gonna go to $500 million a coin. I'm saying it's probably going to go up to like, it could possibly go up to a couple million. It could be a couple million next year at some point. It could be a couple million pretty quickly, honestly. Like in the early stages, like if America gets in there and starts buying it up, man, then other countries are too. So like, if America, by the time, if Bitcoin's $1 million and America's buying it up, they'll drive it up to a couple million, man. That's why it is realistic for it to be a couple million next year with all of these, because there's not much of a supply. Like you'll run into a supply issue, and they're going to have to up the price because there's going to be less supply out there. There was a halvening that happened not too long ago. It was a few months ago where they were producing 900 Bitcoin a day to put on the market. Well, that halved, and now it's 450,000. Well, there's only so much Bitcoin that can be mined. I think that there's a good million that could be mined over the next 100 years or something like that. So you can only do so much a day. So then at some point, there's probably going to be another halvening when it comes to Bitcoin creation. So instead of 450 a day, it might be like 200 a day. So you see less getting put out there. So you can see what's going to happen. Like, there's always going to be Bitcoin that's going to be produced, but like that Bitcoin, to buy that Bitcoin, like you're going to have to spend like, it's worth $10 million, and that's probably like in 10 years. Something I don't know. People are predicting in 20 years it's going to be that. I don't know what it's going to be like in 20 years. I'm just saying, like, these companies probably have a lot of cash like stacked away, and if you're an investor and you see companies and you see countries, governments buying Bitcoin, what does that tell you? Like, you got to get some, man. I got to get some of this. I'm not going to be able to get 450 million Bitcoin or any more like that, but like, we can get some, man. We can get some. Some of these companies, I think BlackRock just made an investment. That is very bullish. So, like, my basic strategy for the next, and I was like, I'm gonna put some in USD. I was thinking about selling some and paying down debt, but I think I'm just gonna sell my gold and silver and do that. What I did is I had some Solana. I was thinking about cashing out and selling. And I just flipped it. I flipped into Bitcoin. I try to put anything I have, I'm putting into Bitcoin. Any project, I don't care about anything else. I have some Ethereum that's staked. It says it takes like 10 days. I just kind of screwed up, so I have to wait 10 days till I can unstake that. And, put that towards more Bitcoin. Because I think that Bitcoin is probably going to be a huge winner coming up. I could be wrong, though. I could be really wrong. So this is why I say, take what I say for granted and do your own research. You don't just listen to somebody what they're saying off of the internet, because I could be wrong. I'm not a financial expert. I don't have any degrees in anything. I just pay attention and put two and two together, So, try. It is crazy too if you follow politics and you know what to invest in. You know what companies to invest in. Like, if you're sitting here on X all day, every day, you know what to invest in. The news comes out so quickly. News drives prices up and down. So, you can see potential where things are going to be headed. Basically, even with, politics and stuff. Yeah, I'm sick. So yeah, the quantum computing is very, like I said, governments are going to have to step in, because if they can crack every single password, they're going to be able to crack everything inside. So that means you're going to have to give up your technology to the government, probably sell your technology, YouTube, because you are not trustworthy. But they probably aren't, and it's a very good idea to tread lightly right now, because it's quite apparent that YouTube, if they want to, they could shut everything down. That's what that tells me. Hey, we can shut everything down, but listen to this. And this is what gives me hope. We can have our differences when it comes to the future, of how we think that humanity should be. People have no sense of humor. They're basically emotionless beings. They can't create nothing. They're just lemmings. Or can we have people with free speech, free ideas, have their own critical thoughts, learn to deal with, whatever you have to, the human experience. He did say something of crazy, crazy. I don't know what the hell they were talking about. Some like computer stuff. Talking about like putting doing something on the Starship. So that tells me that he's willing to work with Elon, and that's amazing, because if he wasn't, they didn't have to say anything about releasing they have the quantum computer that can do this and this and that and pretty much shut everything down if they want. And just, they could have done it at any time. So that is promising, and I am for moderates. Listen, man, that's like, we can come together as, this side can be right moderates, this side can be left moderates, whatever. We don't need to have any more like civilization breakdown. We don't want any more threats of civilization breakdown. We don't want nuclear wars. We want to keep going to the stars, and that's what we should be doing. And wars happen like that. And there's not, we can't control everything, but what we can do is control our own fate and make ourselves a multi-planet species. That should be the goal. Let's put the internet on Mars, man. Like, seriously. So if something does happen to Earth and like we all get wiped out, well, like, at least we have the internet on Mars. You know what I mean? So like, there is like some type of remnants of our civilization that could still be like, humans could still be like living, or like robots, or like at least like, so if there is some type of beings or what have you, and they decide to like, oh, okay, that's crazy, this civilization lived back, this, you survived, some like ancient robot or something on Mars, like, tell our story instead of, like, we just, like Elon said, we just go out with a whimper. At least they'll be able to, like, that we're all the way out here trying to figure things out. It's hard to figure out where we're at, who we are, what's going on, what this is, what is this life. So yeah, that's it for this video.